What's up, guys? It is the Friday, March 5th edition of the MMA Junkie Twitter Mailbag, which means we are here on the eve of UFC 259. Huge card coming at us tomorrow. 15 fights as of now. Fingers crossed they all hold up. We don't have any fight day funkiness, but if everything sticks together, we'll have 3 title fights. Obviously, Jan Blachowicz versus Israel Adesanya is atop the card. Amanda Nunes defending her title against Megan Anderson, and Petr Yan versus Aljamain Sterling, the fight that I'm most looking forward to. So before you guys tune into our coverage, tune into the fights tomorrow night, let's jump into what the questions are that you guys sent in this week. All right, let's start off with the man of the hour, Israel Adesanya. Question from Armenian Jiu-Jitsu about Izzy. So if Izzy wins on Saturday, does he defend both titles or drop one? So if you guys saw earlier this week, Mike Bond from MMA Junkie did an interview with Adesanya, who said that he plans on going back to 185. He's not going to be the guy to hold up a whole division while he's on an escapade up a weight class. So to me, I mean, that answers that question right there. For what I would like to see him do, I think either his next fight should take place at light heavyweight, actually, or he should vacate. And the reason that is I think he does more damage to light heavyweight by holding them hostage than he does to middleweight right now. Middleweight has to figure itself out. I think Robert Whittaker, obviously, and Paulo Costa are going to fight. So see how that plays out. Don't screw over my man Glover Teixeira. I think that guy should get precedent over everyone in terms of the title picture in either of those divisions. So I would like to see the winner of Blachowicz versus Adesanya fight Glover next, or Glover fight for a vacated title if Adesanya wants to go back to 185. Rambo the Skateboard Pimp. Interesting name. What is Megan Anderson's route to an upset win over Amanda Nunes? That's kind of a funny question. Earlier this week for MMA Junkie's Triple Take, I don't know if you guys saw it, myself and 2 of the other writers were given the assignment to make a case for one of the underdogs in the title fights at UFC 259. And I was assigned Megan Anderson. And really what it comes down to, it's not rocket science, is she's going to have to clip Amanda. She's going to have to catch Amanda in some sort of vulnerable position, whether it be on the feet or on the ground, make the most out of a mistake that Amanda makes and get a finish. I mean, sure, she's a heavy underdog for a reason, but we've seen sometimes in MMA with Matt Serra, with Michael Bisping, sometimes these big underdogs can capitalize on small opportunities and make them into a big one. So that's what she's going to have to do. I think Amanda's obviously favored for a reason. Tough task for Megan Anderson, but this is a fist fight. Anything can happen. All right, let's take a little shift backwards. Why don't we? Pricora, the Determined Tortoise, which is another great name. He, she, or it asks, who are some good potential matchups for Gane? I'd like to see him fight Volkov or Blades. Personally, Volkov has a very long body and good cardio, while Blades, I think, will have the wrestling advantage. Thoughts? I think you hit it on the head there. I think Gane versus Volkov is the fight to make. 2 kind of newer guys to the top 5, so to speak. I know Volkov's been hanging out there for a while, but this is kind of the highest point I feel like he's reached in the UFC, since the Derek Lewis fight at least. And Gane, another fresh name that hasn't had a title shot. Guy started MMA 3 years ago. So for me, that's the fight to make. We'll see if the UFC decides otherwise, but makes all the sense in the world to have Gane and Volkov fight. This question comes from my buddy Chris Connor at Last Call with Chris C. Wants to know, what are the odds both Junior Dos Santos and Alistair Overeem end up in Bellator? And while I haven't spoken to Bellator President Scott Coker quite yet, I plan on speaking with him soon about this. I think that Bellator might be a little bit more interested in Dos Santos and Overeem than people would expect. Maybe not as much Dos Santos, but Overeem, I think for sure there'll be some level of interest in. Former Strikeforce fighter. He's got the ties to Coker in that regard. Still has some fights left in the tank. I mean, throw him against Fedor. Who wouldn't want to see that fight? That would be phenomenal. So for me, I'm guessing that they will be interested in Overeem at least having that discussion. Dos Santos, meanwhile, that might be the type of fighter they want to move away from. Guy lost, 4 fights in a row by knockout. Seems like a little bit of a castaway situation that they don't want to get involved in. But Overeem, I think he'll have that conversation with Scott pretty soon. Last question from Kenneth. How good will Masvidal do in the rematch with Usman after a full camp and a proper weight cut? I just think Kamaru Usman's a really tough style matchup for him. I don't think that the preparation will be the X factor. Sure, I'm sure Jorge would like to have more than 2 weeks or whatever he had last time, but at that time, he was staying a little bit ready. He was in the gym. It wasn't like he totally rolled off the couch. So to me, I'd like to see the fight again at some point. Right now, it doesn't thrill me, but if they do book it, I still see Usman winning. And that does it for this edition of the MMA Junkie Twitter mailbag. I appreciate everyone's questions. Look for my tweet on Wednesday asking for questions for next week. And until then, guys, enjoy the fights tomorrow night and stay locked to MMA Junkie as always.